Woo, it's Friday. Yeah, it's not Friday. I've recorded this on Monday. But anyway, it's Friday for you. Yay. It's probably not Friday for you because a lot of people watch these like at the weekend or the following week. But anyway, it's Friday for some of you. In this video, I want to talk about the channel more. I don't know why, but that's what I've written down hypothetically because I've not planned anything. I've literally planned an hour to sit and do these videos because I just really want to know more about you guys, what experiences you've had with Clickteam, what your memories, what's the future you see in Clickteam. Do you think they should charge for it on a monthly or annual basis? Do you use any other exporters? Like, I'm just really interested, and I'll probably get a few comments, and I will love reading those comments. That's my objective. But I feel like I've talked a lot about Clickteam this week, and I haven't really talked about this channel. Something I've really started enjoying is doing the JRPG style video, which was a suggestion from someone who said they wanted me to do that, and I actually really enjoyed it. There was some comments about doing like responsiveness and understanding how you fill a screen, and that's something that I've learnt the hard way, and probably if I try and do it now, which I will do, because that's my next video I want to do, because I think that's a great topic to go through, especially with my hat of doing websites and stuff, which you've got to think of that all the time. And I will say, if you do websites, they are just horrible. Like, websites are horrible when it comes to compatibility. I just talk briefly about websites, right? Just so that you can feel less bad having just Clickteam, like whether it's exe or HTML5, whatever. Like, Clickteam just sorts, like, it's just universal. It's like Java. It just runs the same across everything. With websites, you've got considerations of the device they're on, right? So if they're on their TV or monitor and it's really big, right? And you get massive monitors now. If it's on a tiny on a tiny phone. Now, the smallest phone that I focus on is stupid. What's it called? The Samsung Flip. Is it Galaxy Flip? I think Galaxy Flip Z or something. Again, no research. The screen at the front of that is really thin, like annoyingly thin. And I don't think, like, when you use it, you notice how thin it is. But when you're trying to get your website to work on devices that people use now, I don't care about the iPhone 3G or something, but devices people know now, you try and figure out where the thinnest is. You might go, oh, they should work on everything. Well, your logo is not going to fit on this. You know, you're not going to fit on this one, right? And yeah, so that's really thin. So that's one consideration, right? And that's responsiveness, the growing and shrinking of screens. And sometimes you make the site that works perfectly, and then people do something annoying like flip it around, and then you're like, oh my goodness, where am I going to put everything, etc., etc. And like, that happens automatically, etc. But unless you've got a JavaScript function running at the start and it puts everything perfectly, and then when it flips, the JavaScript thing doesn't run, right? Then you've got the different browsers. Something that I love and has been something that has taken so much time off my life is the fact that Internet Explorer I now treat as dead. Internet Explorer was notorious for being awful to program for, or to like build websites for, because everything would work different with Internet Explorer, and a lot of things wouldn't work at all. It was a hideous program. And now Edge, which is the new Internet Explorer, runs on Chromium, which is also running on Chrome. You've basically got Chrome and WebKit, like Firefox and Safari and stuff. You haven't got that many browsers to focus on, which is amazing. Then you've got the third thing, which is iPhone, and sometimes Android, for whatever reason, just mucks around and does things really weird. You'll notice that if you export on Clickteam for iOS, you've got to have like a screen that you've got to click on the canvas element on your game to get sound, right? You've got to click on it. Now, you might be thinking, well, okay, but it's a game, so you're going to be clicking on it constantly. What if you're not using it for a game? What if you're using it for let's say, an animation of a dragon burning marshmallows. So I'll let you into a little secret there, actually, because it's really funny. So when my app loads, I have created a replica of the button that says start in Clickteam using that canvas element, so that the user clicks start, and then I move that up to do the animation of the dragon. So they're clicking on it without knowing they're clicking on it. Like, wow, that's hardcore. But there's no other way. Otherwise, you have that horrible screen which Clickteam gives. I'm glad they give a screen, but it says click here to hear sound or whatever. Like, oh, horrible, horrible. Like, you wouldn't use that on a production website. Please don't use that on a production website. Like, find a different way. Like a loading, like, I don't know. I can't think of a different way apart from this button idea that I had, which works brilliantly. Thank goodness. So, like, when doing it on website, when building websites, there's a lot of considerations. With Clickteam, all it is screen size, and you just focus. You let Clickteam worry about everything else. And yeah, so you've got to know what the width and the height is, which is normally the client width and client height. Make sure it doesn't include the scroll bar, which I think is client width and client height. I might be wrong. And from there, you can make a decision of what happens with your app, whether it introduces black borders, whether there's a whole load of things you can do. You can see more of the map or whatever. Just please don't like stretch it open, right? That's something that I think Clickteam does by default. It just makes it really big. Like, you should have pride in the graphics you use. You should have so much pride in the graphics you used. If someone stretches them like 2 times, 3 times bigger, or shrinks them, like that should make you cry, right? So please don't use the default stretchy. Yeah, so I've really been enjoying these projects. I like doing the 2-week projects. It's really good for me. I can sit down for 2, 3, 4 hours and do the whole fortnight. But I think I'm interested in doing like how things have been programmed in like actual games. But I don't know. I'm wondering whether to just sit and do a complete project from start to finish. As I've said before, like, I've released one iOS game, and it was, I'm an international publisher, clearly, with my 60 pence. But I've never sat down and done a full game because I just don't have the time or patience to do it normally. But part of this channel is to try and sort of buy me some hobby time. I've just got myself a Steam Deck, and I really, really, really want to make a game that I can run on the Steam Deck from Clickteam. Like, that is the biggest thing. I got an Analog Pocket as well with GB Studio, which is the same thing. Like, I've got all these things lining up to do at some point. And yeah, I just don't have time. This is the problem. I don't know if any of you are out there who also work and aren't students or whatever. But yeah, work takes a lot of time, especially when you're self-employed, which I am. So all the money that goes to me is money I've made, which is quite daunting, but c'est la vie. So it doesn't give you much time for your hobbies. But this is the reason for this channel. So what do I want from you guys? I want suggestions of what you like from this channel, what you want to see from this channel, and yeah, like, I'm not going to do all of them, perhaps. Maybe I will. But is it something you want me to do? Is my own sort of project that we do together? And so, like, the responsiveness was suggested last week, I think by 2 people. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it was just 1. But then I go, right, okay, so let's focus on responsiveness this week or this fortnight. And then someone might suggest going, I think there was someone who suggested that they wanted to do action RPGs like Zelda. Maybe we incorporate that into our game and go, okay, so let's let this player do that attack as well, etc., etc. And this is kind of like a Frankenstein of what everyone wants to cover. Let me know in the comments. I'm starting to ramble again, which I have a propensity to do a lot. A lot of the videos I do are scripted. I've got like a auto cue, and be heavily edited. So I'll start off with like an hour worth of stuff, and then I'll end up with maybe 10, maybe 5 minutes worth of content, which is soul destroying because that's a lot of effort I put into the hour, and then it's just like tiny little amount. Something blinking. Oh, it's that light. It's that. Okay. This is clearly not, because I just don't have time to do this and do all the production budget. Although I might use the studio more. I've got like an overhead. I don't know whether the overhead work. No, I haven't set it up at the moment. But I've got like an overhead, and I've got a proper Cintiq and stuff. Perhaps for next week, let me know if you want a tour of my garage. Literally, this is all the nice bits. Everything else is like lights. Oh, I've got like an arcade machine, like a wooden one. Maybe I'll show you. Let me know if you want to see around this garage next week. Otherwise, and also, actually, I tell you what, before I go, suggestions for videos next week. I'm not going to do any Clickteam. I don't have time for that, although I've probably spent more time on this than a normal Clickteam one. But I don't have, like, I think what a lot of people don't realise is that with the Clickteam ones, I have done a full 20-minute, half an hour video, and I've ditched it because it's just been completely wrong, and I've just taken completely the wrong direction with it. But give me ideas. I've got 5 videos to do next week, on Sunday or Monday. I'm away Sunday, so I might film them Monday. Let me know what you want me to cover. Otherwise, thank you very much. And wow, if you've made it this far into the video, kudos. But I'll see you next week. Thank you very much.